I find a certain aspect of the internet computer to be very interesting, and even though nothing I say is financial advice, it goes beyond my sort of mindset of $100 when it comes to ICP, maybe during a fully fledged type of altcoin season. And what is that? It is how, when it comes to ICP, allegedly, it connects Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. Now, people may be thinking, what do you mean by that? And that's not according to me. That's even according to a post that Dfinity made themselves. Allegedly, smart contracts on ICP can interact with all three networks natively. So for instance, cross-chain swaps like Solana and Bitcoin are possible allegedly on ICP. I think this is pretty awesome because, again, I just mentioned three massive giants right there. Bitcoin, Ethereum, number one, number two. Solana, a very popular layer one blockchain. So we got to think about that. This, I think, kind of showcases how the internet computer, I think, could hypothetically be something a little bit special because we have to consider, right? Other projects out there that are kind of in the same size of ICP, they don't really seem to be doing anything. However, I do like the direction in which it's heading because if we take a look at, of course, Bitcoin, despite the pullback, the Bitcoin ETF, that's still, of course, very massive. We take a look at the Ethereum ETF, again, even despite the Ethereum pullback. Also Solana, but we have to consider, what could the Solana ETF hypothetically bring for Solana moving forward? And I'm talking about the one in Canada. So when I take a look at the grand scheme of things, internet computer, yeah, sure, it may not have the most hype, it may not have the most fans, it may not be the most popular. But if we consider, again, being able to connect Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana, and again, being able to interact with all three networks natively when it comes to smart contracts on ICP, that is something that I'm very impressed with, and I think it showcases kind of the progression of the internet computer. And this is on top of, by the way, we take a look at Caffeine AI, allegedly the world's first ever self-writing apps platform. Why do I think it's a big deal? It's because, of course, we know about AI, like, in terms of search, right? Like, that's very normal as of right now. But when it comes to making apps, now that's a different thing. And I think that right there could very well be something special because if, let's say, I believe in this space, and let's say I think that there's going to be more applications that are going to pop up in the future, won't some of them maybe might want to use like AI to help them do that? Like I'm talking about developers or something like that. So when it comes to Caffeine AI, would it have the best adoption out there? Who knows? But if it can at least help foster, I think, maybe more applications to help be built moving forward, I do like that direction and I do like that mindset. Now, granted, people like to say, oh, Caffeine AI doesn't have the best adoption. Well, how can it possibly have that if it just basically recently kind of became aware to a lot of people? Like, it's not something that I think is going to happen overnight when it comes to mass scale adoption. However, I do like how it is still kind of a thing regardless anyways. We take a look at also when it comes to Bitcoin DeFi, allegedly that's powered by the internet computer. Why do I think it's a big deal? It's because DeFi, of course, even though I get it, a lot of DeFi projects as of right now, having a pullback too in terms of popularity and hype, but that could be said for a lot of projects out there currently. So it's nothing really that concerning, and we have to consider the decentralized finance market, aka the DeFi market, that's predicted to be worth over $200 billion by 2030, according to Grandview Research. So when I say all of this, I think it is just, to me at least, I'm not saying on anyone's behalf, but I do like the aspects of the internet computer. Not to mention, I think something that really kind of sets it off when it comes to the internet computer in terms of the cherry on top is that it can allegedly connect Web 2 and Web 3 without oracles. Why is this a game changer? It's because if we take a look at a massive project like Chainlink, which is very popular, that's primarily focused on oracles. We take a look at its decentralized oracle network, that's very popular. However, we have to consider what is even an oracle in that case, right? It's basically a data feed that brings data from off the chain, aka off-chain data, and it brings that data over into the blockchain. Now, the reason why it's necessary, it's because a lot of decentralized applications out there, they wouldn't really be able to function properly without, this off-chain data, I would arguably say. So then, of course, an oracle is very crucial, I think. Now, again, we take a look at the internet computer. On top of Caffeine AI, it can allegedly connect Web 2 and Web 3 without oracles, so it's kind of bypassing that process. So either way you take a look at it, I think that the internet computer has actually helped building, maybe better applications potentially moving forward, because we take a look at Caffeine AI, that's helping, I think, arguably build applications moving forward. being able to connect Web 2 and Web 3 without oracles, I think that is also helping application development, arguably, because it kind of quite essentially bypasses that oracle step, I would say. So anyway I view it, I do like the direction in which the internet computer is heading, and I kind of feel like it's actually helped maybe build, again, better applications moving forward. So I'm very excited in all of this, and that's why $100, that's still on my mind. If ICP were to go to that price, again, $100, it's around an 18x from here. Now, people may be thinking, who cares about that? Well, I care about it because if Bitcoin, let's say, goes to 300 grand, that's less than a 3x from here. It's not something that necessarily excites me, let's say, in the next 6 months. And of course, there may be a microcap that could hypothetically outperform this, but to me, I am not looking for that anyways. So I do like this sort of ICP type of vibe where the market cap isn't too massive, it's not too small either, has an established community, good fan base, good exchange listings. That's what I want to look for. So I wouldn't necessarily complain about anything that's like over 10x. Like, why would I complain about that? This is just my perspective. However, even besides that, $100, again, considering current circulating supply market cap would be around $53.7 billion. So I get it. It's nothing necessarily sort of like too minuscule, but then it's kind of not too massive either because, for instance, we saw BNB reach over $100 billion in market cap back in 2021. I'm not saying that this is going to be more popular than BNB or something, but that was years ago. Again, back in 2021, at the peak of that bull run, there was around 300 million crypto owners. Now there's over 600 million. So it's just a very big difference. And keep in mind, we have over 600 million crypto owners currently. And I think during the cycle, we haven't even really seen a fully fledged type of altcoin season yet. Yeah, sure, some altcoins have showed moments of brilliance, but it's never really been that 2021 type of, bull run type of vibe. And we already have that many crypto owners, which is why I'm still staying patient. Again, if the altcoin season were to happen during this cycle, that is beyond my control, and it's going to happen probably when I least expect it to do so, which is why I'm dollar cost averaging, holding, and just waiting. That's it. I'm just staying patient, but I do like the interesting aspects when it comes to the internet computer. I wouldn't say that it disappoints me because it actually doesn't. Other projects out there, sure, they have a big market cap, sure, they have a good following, but it seems like they're not really doing anything. So when it comes to the internet computer, it's something that I do like. It's already massive. They don't necessarily have to do more, I would say, but I do like it because I think by them doing things fundamentally, and I see what Definity is doing and whatnot, I think it kind of showcases that they actually care about the long-term future. They don't treat it like a part-time thing. Other projects out there, it feels like the team is treating it as a part-time thing, and maybe it is. Who knows? I'm not a part of their teams or whatever, but then I'm just saying, like, this one doesn't feel that way to me in terms of the vibe. I'm still staying patient, and that's pretty much about it. I'm a big fan of the project, and I like the direction in which it's heading, and I do find certain aspects of it very interesting. And feel free to subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I would greatly appreciate it. It's Willie the Captain, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.